Very good afternoon. Okay, let's check whether we have anyone around for today's session. Saya harap tak adalah. Okay, pelajar Abdul Razak Hamzah di Kuala Terengganu. Saya harap anda bersama saya, maybe streaming at home. Okay, Han Chayan di Melaka, Muhammad Hezdi, Penang, Nur Syuhada di Puchong, Nur Shadila di KB. Okay, I assume that you are working, but now it's lunch time almost. Ong Syaihan, Bukit Mertajam, Oyisha, Zulkarnain, Syed Omar di Parit Bunta. I wonder whether you are enjoying your lunch or you are with me for our 4th video conference for Ekonomi Perindustrian. Okay, so let's move on to what we'll be doing today. So basically what we'll be covering today is still under module 3. Okay, we're still talking about structure, conduct and performance. Okay, we already discussed the first part. Basically we discussed how to measure structure of the industry. Basically we are looking at market concentration, penumpuan pasaran. Okay, we discussed everything about how to measure, what does it mean and all that. So basically today what we'll be doing is to cover the second part of the SCP approach, which is what we call as conduct or gelagat pasaran. Okay, so let's look at what you need to do today. Okay, so basically this is what we'll be doing for the next 50 minutes or so. We'll be looking at gelagat pasaran. Basically this is from module 3.3 only. 3.3 and 3.4. Okay. Let's recap sedikit ulang kaji. Saya harap anda masih lagi ingat apa yang kita telah bincangkan sebelum ini dari segi struktur, gelagat dan prestasi ataupun dalam bahasa Inggeris structure, conduct and performance. Okay, when we talk about struktur pasaran, ini adalah merujuk kepada bilangan firma, saiz firma dan sebagainya. Manakala apabila kita membincangkan gelagat ataupun conduct, okay, kita melihat dari segi perbincangan tentang penentuan harga, okay, periklanan, okay, gelagat dari segi melakukan R&D iaitu research dan development dan sebagainya. Dan bahagian ketiga performance, kita akan lihat segi prestasi firma dalam pasaran dari segi kebolehuntungan, segi lebihan pengguna, kebajikan sosial dan lain-lain lagi. Okey, jika kita lihat modul 3, okey, anda lihat di sini yang kita akan bincangkan di sini adalah gelagat pasaran, okey, dan gelagat pasaran dalam pasaran oligopoli. Kita akan bincangkan ketiga-tiga bentuk gelagat dalam pasaran persaingan sempurna, pasaran oligopoli dalam modul 3.3, manakala modul 3.4 akan membincangkan gelagat pasaran dalam pasaran oligopoli. And by next week, okay, you'll be with me here in USM. Kita akan bincangkan tentang prestasi pasaran, okay, kapasiti berlebihan dan keseluruhannya tentang struktur gelagat dan prestasi. And we also talk a little bit about your continuous assessment ataupun peperiksaan berterusan at the end of today's session. Okay, so please stay with me. Okay, dan apabila kita membincangkan struktur gelagat prestasi, okay, secara asasnya, okay, pada peringkat asal, okay, kita mempunyai pandangan bahawa struktur pasaran akan menentukan gelagat firma dan akhirnya akan menentukan prestasi firma. Ini adalah satu pandangan. Manakala, okay, terdapat juga pandangan kedua yang mengatakan bahawa hubungan sebab akibat itu bukannya berbentuk sahala, bukannya berbentuk struktur, okay, menghasilkan gelagat, menghasilkan performance, tapi sebaliknya kita dapati di situ terdapatnya hubungan timbal balas ataupun feedback effect. Okay, maksudnya hubungan sebab akibat tu bukannya one way, it can be two direction. Boleh jadi conduct juga mempengaruhi struktur pasaran, ataupun boleh jadi, okay, performance firma juga mempengaruhi gelagat firma. Okay, so it can be the other way around. So what we have is this circle to show that these three parts are very much, okay, interlinked between one and another. Okay, just in case you are interested to learn further, okay, when we talk about structure, conduct and performance, okay, basically you can just key in, okay, Google search, okay. For example, there's this website on the left hand side, you can see I learned today. So this is in short, okay, what does the structure, conduct, performance is all about. So basically when we talk about struktur pasaran, struktur industri, sama juga kita bercakap dari segi bilangan firma yang bersaing dalam pasaran. Adakah ianya banyak-banyak firma iaitu pasaran persaingan sempurna, that is one extreme, or it can be only one firm that serve the market, so we call that monopoly. That is another end of the extreme. In between we have monopolistic competition. Okay, we also have oligopoly. Okay, and then we need to talk about the type of product offered by the firms. Okay, adakah produk itu berbentuk homogen ataupun similar, almost same, or is that a differentiated product? So basically, you need to look back the different type of the industry characteristic, whether it's monopoly or it's oligopoly or it's monopolistic or perfectly competitive markets, so that you can know that the product is homogen or differentiated. Same thing when we talk about entry and exit. Okay, certain type of market is easier for you to enter and exit, while another type of market, when we talk about monopoly, for example, by right. Okay, monopoly means no other firm can enter the market, and the current monopoly firm also cannot simply exit from the market. There are reasons for that, and I hope by now you should know what are they. Okay, and the second part, when we talk about firm conduct, okay, the strategies with regard to pricing, the strategies with regards to how much output to produce, whether they need to spend money on advertising expenditure, whether they need to do research and developments. Okay, that one will come under firm conduct. Performance, okay, same thing. Okay, we are talking about competitive disadvantage and all that. Okay, so that's on the left hand side of the screen. Okay, this is the link, what I learned today on top. Okay, and the second part is basically what does a diagram that shows you the linkages between market structure, conduct and performance, and relate this to the basic condition of market demand and supply. Okay, so basically this is what you already covered in micro 1 and 2. So remember, you are now at level 4. Okay, so economy perindustrian ni level 4. So we assume that you have some sort of strong grasp of what's going on in the market in terms of demand and supply. Okay, and then later when we discuss, you understand that we are not just talking about PPS or monopoly. We are also talking about how governments intervene. Okay, in terms of antitrust, law, in terms of price control, in terms of regulations. Okay, so basically you can refer to the link that is given here. Okay, let's go into detail what we'll be covering today. So we are talking about gelagat pasaran ataupun conduct. Basically, when we look at this gelagat pasaran, kita akan bincangkan dalam 3 jenis pasaran, iaitu pasaran persaingan sempurna, PPS. Okay, one extreme. On the other extreme is monopoly. Dan di tengah-tengah tu kita ada oligopoly. Okay, saya tak nak campurkan dengan monopolistic competition. Okay, so as you know, we only have 3 different type of market to discuss today. Okay, basically we'll be looking at huraian gelagat firma dalam pasaran yang ketiga-tiga ini. Dan kita akan lakukan analisis dari segi ciri perilakuan. Okay, now we are talking about behavior. We're talking about how firm conduct themselves in the market. Basically, we talk about how do they determine price. Okay, price determinations. Okay, and then we talk about what are the alternative to price determination. Okay, maksudnya selain pada menentukan harga, apa lagi yang boleh mereka lakukan. Okay, let's move on. Okay, apabila kita membincangkan gelagat pasaran, the word conduct, basically, okay, what you need to bear in mind, we'll be talking about strategi tentang harga. Harga tinggi ke, harga rendah ke, harga ikut firma pesaing ke, ataupun harga yang ditetapkan oleh pasaran. Okay, kita akan juga bincangkan segi adakah firma melakukan strategi dari segi penentuan keluaran. We're talking about, do they decide on price or do they decide on quantity. So remember when we talk about even monopoly firm, they cannot control both price and quantity. Okay, a monopoly firm, a firm in the market can only control either price or quantity. Okay, bukan kedua-duanya. So if they decide, okay, I want to charge harga yang paling mahal untuk pasaran ni, okay, then they have to wait. Ada tak orang yang nak beli? That's it. You cannot say, I want to charge the more expensive price and I want to sell only 2 unit. No. Okay, if you charge the more expensive price, okay, then you need to see whether there is any takers. Okay, you cannot determine on the quantity. Same thing, if you want to determine the quantity, okay, then you let the market decide on the price. Okay. And then we have the advertising cost. We also have cost in terms of research and development, penyelidikan dan pembangunan. This is very important, especially when we talk about product differentiations. Okay, and then when we talk about competition among firms in the market, okay, in terms of, you know, further investment, okay, do they need to come up with a new plan in order to increase production capacity? Do they need to collude? Okay, that means to come together and join, okay, in terms of their pricing and such. And then in terms of their strategy, undang-undang. So when we talk about gelagat pasaran, how do firm conduct themselves? You need to talk about price, you need to talk about quantity, you need to talk about advertisement, okay, and whether do they collude in the market or not. Okay, by the right definition of gelagat ataupun perilakuan ataupun perlakuan pasaran adalah merujuk, okay, pola perlakuan yang dipamerkan oleh firma, okay, dalam sesebuah industri di pasaran. Okay. So, gelagat pasaran adalah berhubung bagaimana firma melakukan melindungi kepentingan mereka apabila bersaing. Kalau firma tersebut mempunyai pesaing. Okay, because monopoly, they do not have competitor at all. Okay, and then dari segi gelagat pasaran adalah berhubung dengan dasar dan amalan yang digunakan untuk membuat keputusan tentang harga, pengiklanan dan pengeluaran. Okay, so I would like to stress here that when we discuss after this, when we discuss the different type of the market, PPS, oligopoly or monopoly, okay, it looks like you are discussing the same thing that you discuss in micro 1 and 2. Ciri-ciri pasaran persaingan sempurna, ciri-ciri monopoli, ciri-ciri oligopoli, okay, penentuan harga dalam PPS, penentuan harga dalam monopoli, penentuan harga dalam oligopoli. So what we'll be doing is a lot about revision of micro 1 and 2. But remember, okay, when we discuss gelagat, you need to stress on how does the characteristic of the market, okay, firm in the market, okay, will basically determine their behavior. Okay, so how you portray your points, okay, how you elaborate on the characteristic will determine whether you answer the questions or not. Don't simply just list, okay, here are the characteristic of PPS or ini adalah ciri-ciri oligopoli. Okay, you does not answer the question, apakah gelagat firma dalam pasaran monopoli? Okay, so it's not sufficient for you to simply list, okay, the characteristic ataupun ciri-ciri monopoli tanpa membincangkan secara spesifik, okay, gelagat firma dalam pasaran monopoli tersebut. Okay, I hope you get that. Okay, dalam membincangkan gelagat firma, okay, so remember untuk menghasilkan output Q, okay, ini adalah bergantung kepada dua faktor input iaitu capital and labor. Okay, we just focus on these two inputs. Okay, actually there are other inputs as well, entrepreneurships in terms of land, that is natural resources. So when we talk about gelagat, basically you need to refer to both. Okay, the output market as well as the input market. Okay, so this is where your understanding of labor economics is also useful. But I won't go much into that. Okay, now we go to the next part. Okay, when we talk about gelagat, bagaimana firma menentukan guna tenaga, that is in terms of how much labor they need and in terms of output that they produce. Okay, or ataupun keluaran Q. Okay, di sini kita melakukan analisis perilaku ataupun conduct ataupun behavior ataupun gelagat firma. Okey, adakah sesebuah firma itu bebas dalam membuat keputusan? Okey, sama ada keputusan tersebut tentang dasar harga, dasar keluaran ataupun dasar pengiklanan dan lain-lain. Okey, analisis perilaku inilah kita katakan sebagai gelagat pasaran. Okey, kita akan bincangkan gelagat pasaran yang pertama iaitu pasaran persaingan sempurna, PPS. Okey, here are the characteristic of a firm dalam pasaran persaingan sempurna iaitu firma bersaiz kecil. Setiap firma dalam PPS adalah price taker ataupun penerima harga. What does it mean? Do you remember this, everyone? What is the meaning of price taker? That means the firm cannot determine the price. The price is decided by the market, not the firm. You can differentiate this with monopoly later. Penumpuan pasaran di situ adalah kosong disebabkan firma kecil tetapi ada banyak firma pembekal dalam pasaran. Jadi, tidak ada monopoli langsung. Manakala penumpuan pembeli rendah. Ini bermaksud ada banyak firma, ada ramai juga pembeli. So remember my example about penjual goreng pisang. So basically that is example of firma kecil. Jual goreng pisang, you don't need much in term of modal, capital. And your market is also everywhere. Ada je orang yang akan membeli goreng pisang. So you don't need to worry. And keluaran juga adalah bersifat homogeneous. Iaitu sama, similar, homogen. Tiada halangan untuk keluar masuk pada firma. Kalau satu firma membuat untung yang berlebihan, itu akan menarik firma lain untuk turut serta dalam pasaran. Kalau ada firma yang mendapat kerugian, itu tak menghalang untuk firma tersebut keluar daripada pasaran, berhenti berniaga contohnya. Kita andaikan juga di sini terwujudnya andaian tentang maklumat sempurna, perfect information. Dan firma dalam pasaran PPS adalah memaksimumkan keuntungan pada titik di mana MC equals to MR. This is the golden rule that you need to remember. All firms actually, whether we are discussing PPS or monopoly or oligopoly, this is the point that you need to remember. Profit maximization happen at the point where MC equals to MR. Bukannya tempat lain. This is kaedah marginal. So this is what I already explained just now. And remember, this is revision of what you already know from Micro 1. Perfect. Pasaran persaingan sempurna dibincangkan dalam mikroekonomi 1. So you must be able to understand setiap satu daripada ciri pasaran persaingan sempurna ini. Dan kemudian nanti anda boleh kaitkan dengan gelagat firma dalam pasaran persaingan sempurna. Disebabkan ada banyak bilangan penjual dan juga pembeli dalam pasaran. Setiap satu firma penjual itu adalah kecil berbanding dengan saiz pasaran. Dan kesannya tidak ada satu firma pun yang berkuasa untuk mempengaruhi ataupun memanipulasi harga sesuatu barangan. Dan kita analisis ni produk adalah homogeneous. Semua firma dalam industri itu menghasilkan produk yang sama. Ini bermakna consumer can easily find substitute for the product of any given firm. Kalau when we talk about, again, I know it's a boring example, but it's the most is the one that come to my mind when we talk about goreng pisang just now. Goreng pisang kat Penang ni depan pintu Sungai Dua sama je dengan goreng pisang kat Glugo ataupun sama je dengan di KL. So basically you don't need to advertise, you don't need to spend money on basically to make your goreng pisang different from the other goreng pisang. Ini adalah andaian tentang tiada halangan untuk keluar atau masuk ke dalam pasaran, in terms of no barrier to enter and exit. So kalau ada keuntungan lebih dalam pasaran, katakanlah ada firma yang mendapat supernormal profit, itu akan menarik kemasukan firma baru. Manakala jika ada firma yang mengalami kerugian, subnormal profit in the short run, firma tersebut akan keluar daripada pasaran. Dan kita andaikan semua ejen ekonomi memiliki maklumat sempurna. Okay, you know that, the type of product, the pricing, okay. Dan semua firma adalah berdepan dengan non-decreasing average cost of production. So, maksudnya this is bukannya natural monopoly. So, this is a bit extra. So, when we talk about the market, okay, the market, let's say when we talk about, here we're talking about comparative static, okay, in the long run. That means from short run to long run, okay, in terms of price discrimination. Okay, when we talk about a market, okay, untuk satu pasaran kita ada demand and supply. Okay, so penentuan harga mestilah pada titik pertemuan di antara garis demand dan garis supply. So we start with PO and QO. Katakanlah di situ berlaku pertambahan permintaan pasaran. So DO, okay, shift out to D1, shift up to the right, so to D1. So apa yang berlaku dengan keadaan penawaran yang masih lagi kekal pada SO, maka harga pasaran adalah lebih tinggi dengan kuantiti yang ditawarkan juga lebih tinggi. Okay. So jika okay, this one before we move to this shifting of supply curve. Okay, let's look at the a firm in the PPS. Okay, so we get back to this one later. Okay, untuk firma dalam pasaran persaingan sempurna, okay, okay, demand is perfectly flat. Okay, this is the demand curve, this is the average revenue curve, this is the marginal revenue curve. So this is the price. So this is in perfectly okay. Whatever the price, with this price you can produce whatever quantity that you want. So in this case, price is determined by, okay, MC equals to MR here. Okay, this is normal profits. Okay, MC equals to MR, and remember when you draw this marginal cost curve, okay, it must always cut across AC, average cost or average total cost at minimum of AC. Okay, MC always cut across AC at the minimum of AC. It's always like this. Okay, you cannot draw differently. So this is normal profit in the short run just now. Okay, this is the initial equilibrium. And then when you have increase in price as a result of shifting out a demand curve, so your increase in price, that means you have a new marginal revenue line. Okay, shift out. Okay, with the new price, okay, you have supernormal profits. Wait, supernormal profit. Okay, so the area of profit is basically, this is the new equilibrium. MC equals to MR at Q1, new quantity, new equilibrium. Okay, so this is your average revenue point. Okay, at price P1, but your average cost is below. So if you go straight this part, okay, this box is your supernormal profits. Okay, your supernormal profit will attract a lot more firm to come into the market. So remember, we are talking about no barrier to enter and exit. Apabila berlaku peningkatan bilangan firma dalam pasaran, maka supply, penawaran juga akan meningkat. So we go back to the previous curve. Okay, apabila berlaku firma baru masuk dalam pasaran, so the supply curve will shift to the right, berlaku peningkatan penawaran. So at the end of the day, okay, assuming demand remain the same, apabila supply curve shift out, okay, so price, the new equilibrium will be at the new price. Okay, from P1, okay, price will reduce, so we are back to PO dengan kuantiti Q2 yang lebih tinggi. Okay, so in this case, when we talk about harga turun, so tadi supernormal profits. Okay, supernormal profit, okay, with the entry of new firms. Okay, at the end of the day, in long run, you are back to normal profits. Itu adalah penentuan harga, okay, dalam pasaran persaingan sempurna. In short run, yes, you can make supernormal profit or subnormal profit. If supernormal profit, that will attract all the other firm to enter. Subnormal profit, basically your firm will quit from the market, such that in the long run, okay, only firm that makes normal profits. Okay, we do not have this line. Okay, we only have this one. Okay, I hope that is clear now. Is revision. Okey, jadi secara jika anda lihat di situ, apabila anda ingin membincangkan ciri perilakuan PPS, okay, what are the characteristic of perfectly competitive markets behavior, firm behavior? Okay, ia adalah berbentuk gelagat mudah. Okay, di sini disebabkan tiada paksaan, disebabkan tiada persaingan antara firma, sebab tiada firma yang boleh mempengaruhi harga. Okay, untuk itu kita katakan sebagai gelagat mudah. Gelagat pasif, okay, you don't need to spend on advertising, you don't need to spend on price war or anything because disebabkan oleh ciri-ciri yang kita telah bincangkan tadi. Begitu juga tidak ada sikap kepentingan yang bermusuhan. Okay, that means each and every firm in the perfectly competitive markets, they are free. Okay, nak masuklah jual goreng pisang. Kalau rugi, you nak berhenti jual goreng pisang, you can do it. Okay, so you are free to decide. Because sama ada anda masuk, itu tak akan mempengaruhi gerai goreng pisang yang lain. Kalau anda berhenti jual goreng pisang pun, itu tidak akan tidak ada tindak balas daripada penjual goreng pisang yang lain. Okay, no reaction from the other firms. Okay, so that means gelagat mudah, gelagat pasif, tiada sikap kepentingan yang bermusuhan. Itu adalah ciri perilakuan PPS. Okay, very simple. Okay, so this one adalah ulang kaji. I won't discuss this. So this one in English, basically a repeat of what I already covered just now. Okay. Okay, we move on to the opposite end of the spectrum. Okay, kalau tadi kita membincangkan pasaran persaingan sempurna, sekarang kita akan bincangkan pula pasaran monopoli. Okay, monopoli ni adalah a complete kontras ataupun adalah satu pasaran yang sangat ketara berbeza daripada pasaran persaingan sempurna. Kalau PPS ada banyak firma penjual, monopoli cuma ada satu firma penjual. Okay, produk masih lagi homogen, okay, ataupun differentiated boleh jadi, dan terdapat di situ halangan kemasukan ataupun halangan untuk keluar daripada pasaran. Okay, and because there's only one firm, okay, so firma monopoli berhadapan dengan downward sloping demand curve. Okay, that's the things that you should remember when you draw the diagram for monopoly firm. Okay, kita lihat di situ ciri-ciri monopoli. Satu firma dengan penumpuan pasaran CR4 ataupun Herfindahl Index dia adalah tinggi sekali, iaitu 1 ataupun 100. Tiada penumpuan pembeli. Okay, maksudnya pembeli tu ramai, halangan kemasukan dan juga untuk keluar adalah tinggi. Sukar untuk masuk, sukar untuk keluar pada pasaran. Maklumat tidak sempurna. Tiada pembezaan keluaran. Okay, kenapa tiada pembezaan keluaran? Because there is no competitors. Okay, dan dari segi penentuan harga, equilibrium point, masih lagi pada peringkat pemaksimuman untung, MC equals to MR. Tiada beza di situ. Okay, so based on the characteristic that we discussed just now, you remember downward sloping demand curve. Okay, draw downward sloping demand curve. And then you have the marginal revenue curve. Okay, so marginal revenue curve is always drawn halfway between the origin and your demand. Okay, so kalau remember that, okay, your marginal revenue line is always halfway between origin and your demand. Okay, and then you have the same shape of marginal cost curve and your average cost curve. Okay, MC cut across AC at minimum of AC. Okay, you must hold that shapes. Okay, and equilibrium point is where MC equals to MR. Okay, this is the point where MC equals to MR. So this is the output that you produce and you go out straight. Okay, whenever it touch your demand curve, this is your AR curve. Okay, so basically you go to the left, this is the price that you charge for your product. And in this case, because this is the point, okay, your average revenue, while your average cost is here, so this part will be the shaded area of supernormal profit for a monopoly. Okay, and that is in short run. What happened in the long run for monopoly? Who knows the answer? I hope siapa ni nak disuruh. Okay, you are not here with me, but maybe Zulkarnain ataupun Oyisha. Okay, kalau monopoly, okay, mendapat supernormal profit in the short run, what happen in the long run? Itu soalan saya untuk anda berdua. Okey, manakala untuk Han Chayan dan Abdul Razak,